When you start to succeed, something kind of weird happens. People start talking about you. So, how do you handle all those whispers and the drama that can pop up when you start to achieve things? Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack a pretty powerful guide for handling exactly that.
And get this, our entire game plan today comes from this one single oracle card. It's titled Gossip. Now, it might look simple, but believe me, the wisdom packed onto this little card is basically a masterclass in how to manage the spotlight and, more importantly, how to protect your focus while you're climbing.
All right, so let's dive into the first part of this whole journey. That moment you realize, oh, people are talking. We're calling this the price of being seen. I mean, have you ever had that? You're just working hard, things are finally starting to click, and then you get that strange little tingle, that feeling that your name is being brought up in rooms you're not even in. It can be pretty unsettling, right? But what if it isn't a bad sign at all? This is the card's very first message. It's a simple, direct statement of fact. But what's really interesting is how it's presented. It's not some scary warning, it's just a neutral observation. This is the first real signal that you're not invisible anymore. So here's where we have to flip the script in our heads. The chatter, it's not a problem you need to solve. Think of it more like a metric. It's actually a sign that what you're doing is significant enough to get noticed. So instead of asking, oh, how do I make them stop? A much better question is, okay, I have their attention, now what? And that question leads us perfectly into our second section, the integrity playbook. Because look, knowing people are talking is one thing. Knowing how to respond, that's where your real power is. This is the strategy. And here it is. This is the core instruction from the card. Your entire playbook, right there in one sentence. Now, notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say fight back, or explain yourself, or set the record straight. Nope. The strategy is all about rising above that noise with very deliberate, very controlled action. So let's break this down. It's actually a super clear three-step process. First, just refuse to add fuel to the fire. Minimize the drama. Second, own your choices, own your path, take personal responsibility. And third, and this is the big one, make sure your actions are always in line with your values. In other words, act with integrity. And let's be really clear about what we mean by integrity here. It's all about the practice of making sure what people see you do lines up with what you actually believe in private. Because when people are watching, that consistency, it becomes your shield. It becomes the foundation of your entire reputation. Okay, this brings us to the final and I think most critical message from the card. We've got the signal. People are talking. We've got the strategy. Act with integrity. But what are the stakes? I mean, really, this section is all about what happens when you get this wrong. It's so easy to think that engaging in a little drama is no big deal, right? I'll just fire off one quick reply, or I have to defend myself here. But what's the actual price you pay for getting pulled into that? Well, the card has a very direct and, frankly, very sobering answer. And there it is, the final knockout punch from the card. Every single minute you spend on drama is a minute that's literally stolen from your work. Every ounce of energy you give to haters is energy you can't put towards your goals. It is a direct tax on your ambition. And this just lays it out perfectly. Look at these two paths. On one side, when you focus on your work, you're building wealth, you're making progress. On the other side, when you focus on the drama, all you're building is resentment and conflict, and your ambition just stalls out. The choice couldn't be clearer. And ultimately, that's what this all boils down to. You have a finite amount of energy every single day. You can invest it in your craft, in your business, in your mission, or you can let it get completely drained away by conflicts that do absolutely nothing to serve your purpose. The choice is yours. So after all that, what is the key takeaway from this one gossip card? Let's try and distill it all down. Okay, here are the three big things to remember. First, you've got to reframe gossip. It's not an attack, it's a sign you're finally on the map. Second, your power is not in trying to stop the talk, it's in how you carry yourself while it's happening. And last but not least, never forget that drama is the enemy of progress. You have to protect your energy fiercely. So I want to leave you with this question, because people are going to talk, especially if you're doing anything worthwhile. The real question isn't what they're going to say about you. The real question is, what will your response, your work, your focus, your integrity, what will that say about you?